Good morning, good morning. It's been a minute, but I said that quite a few times as I've attempted to film and capture some moments throughout my work day. Last week, even attempted to capture some moments working from home, but it's just not quite worked out. This morning is a little different as I've had to take my kids to school first. My daughter takes piano, and again, it's constant changes with my work schedule, which has been really difficult to navigate, but trying to work it out the best way I can. I'm having a lot of anxiety, a lot of irritation this morning. It's like the smallest things will trigger my anxiety, and it gets really bad. Like on my way to drop my daughter off, I look down and I see I'm almost on E. I'm not gonna make it to work on this gas. I have to stop at the gas station, and it's 8 o'clock. So I'm not gonna get to work until 9, if not later. Those of you who have children, you know they can test your gangster sometimes. So yeah, I've not been in the best headspace. I don't know if it's because my birthday's coming up, and I say that because I had so many goals, not so many goals. I had some goals that I wanted to reach as far as my weight, as far as some personal development goals that I wanted to reach, some professional development goals, like learning goals, like as far as reading and taking some courses, and I haven't been able to focus on that. So much of that is because I was studying for my RHIA exam, and that's such a huge goal that I need to, that I shouldn't put so much pressure on myself, but I've just been struggling. Like with work, I've been struggling. And what I realized is, if I don't have like a major project to work on, I find myself scrambling, like, what should I be doing? And it's like there's so much to track and trend, but like if I'm not honed in on something specific, then my productivity just plummets, and I just find myself wandering. My mind just is wandering, and I just feel lost, and I'm just not in the best mental space right now. So yesterday I focused on writing some goals down and on what I need to do, and part of that is practicing, writing an affirmation. Like my affirmation for yesterday is, I can't even remember, but it was something along the lines of, I will concentrate and be productive, like something along those lines. And so when I get to work today, I will write an affirmation down and put it on a sticky note and put it on my monitor so that I can look at it and just, be focused. My affirmation for today will just be, I will remain focused today. Something simple as that. Because I'm just not motivated right now. I even worked out yesterday and had a breakdown in the gym. That's not like me. Is that my exit for the gate? My husband should have filled up my gas. Okay, that's another conversation. I'm gonna get through this little rough patch that I'm having at the moment. Oh, Sam's is open. Had I known that, I would have took my butt over there. Well, let me get some gas and I'm going to put this hair in a ponytail. It's natural hair. And it's not too humid, but it's going to get on my nerves today. I get my hair straightened maybe twice the most a year. And I had to get it straightened because I needed my ends clipped so bad. I don't want to be in the office looking just like this. So, all right. What's this man want? Oh Jesus, maybe he's laughing at me because I'm talking to the camera. All right. So quick topic of discussion. I use LinkedIn a lot. I'm on LinkedIn a lot, just scrolling for. LinkedIn is not only good for professional things are posted on there, but also, like, I'll come across poll questions or just industry. But there was a poll question on there, like, should your can't remember verbatim, but should your boss contact you after work hours? And my thoughts on that is no, because once you open, and I actually learned this from, keep this on, I actually learned this from a colleague, that once you start opening up yourself to being available after hours, then that person knows that you can be reached at that time. So, for example, if my boss, it depends on the situation. So, for example, my email is on my phone, always has been. Even when I was, I started putting my email on my phone when I was a government audit analyst. And I just thought that was really important because I wanted to be available. I wanted my boss to know that I took my work really important. I wanted her to know that I was available for any questions that she had. If she had early meetings, if she needed a question answered, I wanted her to know that I was available for her. And I was trying to, move up, and I was just that person, her right hand. Always had been her right hand until, that's another story. So in my recent example, in this role, gosh, right, my thoughts are all over the place because there's with availability. So anyway, sticking to this example, this is what I do when I'm at work. My mind is pew, 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 pew. And that's not good. That's not good. So it's 8:15. I'm gonna have to cut this out so many times. Don't hit me. With having my email on my phone, I saw a question come through with having my email on my phone, my boss had an early meeting. It's very normal for my boss to have like 6 a.m. meetings. So I knew my boss had a meeting early in the morning, and so an email came through from an important person, meaning like she might have been either the director or the VP of finance, and she had a question about our numbers. A higher up finance has sent a question about the numbers for my department. And I knew that my boss didn't know the detail of that question. She just knew the high level. So because I knew that my boss had early meeting the next morning, I saw that email come through on my phone. I'm laying on the couch, and I was like, oh, I can answer this really quick. Let me hop on the computer and send a reply right back. I did that, and my boss actually texted me and said thank you. And this was like at 7 p.m. It was between 7 and 7:30 p.m. So in cases like that, I think it's okay. At the same time, I didn't have to do that. I did not have to do that. It's very possible that my boss would have texted me and asked me that question, but did I have to text her back? No, it's after work hours. My phone could have been turned off. I could have been out and about at a extracurricular activities with my kids. You just never know. So the answer to the original poll question, should your I can't remember, should your boss or should your job contact you after work hours? The answer is no. It's, at the end of the day, it's up to you whether you accept that communication after work hours. But you have to manage expectations for or from your boss. Because once you open that door and start making yourself available for your boss, then she's gonna know, oh, Candace, if I email her late at night, she usually responds, so she's gonna respond this time. So you have to start cutting that off. And I mean, it could be a positive or a negative. Positive, you know, your boss knows that you're always going to be available. But I think it's a negative because that one time you're not available, then it's gonna backfire. So if your boss just knows, oh, if she knows to expect a communication or a response from you the next day, then it is what it is. So for example, yesterday, the admin, she called me at 7:13 p.m. I remember that time exactly because I texted my mom, like, why is she calling me at 7:13 p.m.? At this point, I'm working for my adjunct faculty position. So she called me at 7:13. I actually hit ignore, like, no, decline. And then she texted me, did the cleaners come in for Dr. So-and-so to drop off his white coats? Do you think I responded? Actually, what she asked was, were you in the office Thursday? Were you in the office Thursday? Did you see the cleaners come in and drop off white coats for Dr. So-and-so? My initial smart aleck response was, don't worry about where I was Thursday. Number one. And number two, why are you calling me after 7? Now, if she would have texted me before 6 o'clock, I would have responded. And number 3, can I get a hello? Hey y'all, hey, so I am actually at home at 3, oh, what was it? Let me look at my watch. At 3:26, I got a mass text message was sent out saying that my daughter's bus was going to be running 45 minutes late. They were suggesting that all the parents pick their kids up. Now, mind you, I work, it takes me about 35 to 40 minutes in the morning to get to work. So as soon as I saw that, I went to my boss's office to give her a heads up, to at least ask if I could leave, to make sure it was okay that I go and pick her up. And so by the time I packed my stuff up, took a restroom break, and got out the building into the car, it might have been about I got the text at 3:26. It might have been about 3:40 given the walking time. So by the time I got to my daughter, it was 4:29. So let's see. I was getting off the highway at 4:18. Yeah, whatever the math is there. So I'm actually at home, and I didn't do much talking at work today that I wanted to do. So I'm actually getting ready to finish my day up here at home and get some work done. The good thing is I saw in my email on my phone that our Cubes, which is another system that's tied to Epic, is updated. And so again, with it being the first of the month, the first full week of May, especially with the Cubes being updated, I can go ahead and get all of the reporting. So with it being the first of the month, let me go ahead and hook my laptop up to my 2 monitors that I have here, and let's go through all of the reports, high level overview of what I need to get submitted. And that way, by doing so, I will go ahead and round out my to-do list. Okay, so now we're going to get into the Cubes and the reporting. So an email came out today at 4:12, and that was expected, that an email would come out either yesterday or today, especially with it being Tuesday today. Now I have on my calendar for the reports to my boss and to my colleagues to be sent on the 5th of every month. Now this can vary depending on when the first full week of the month is. The reports are based on the prior month. So for example, in the month of, let's use March as an example. So in March, all my reporting is going to be for the month of February. So in March, the first full week of March for me started on March 7th to report on February's data or data. I never know how people are going to pronounce that word, data or data, tomato, tomato. So because February 28th was on Monday and then March 1st was on that following Tuesday, my reports on my calendar were set out to be due on the 5th. Of course, the 5th was on a Saturday, so that wasn't going to happen. but the first full week was technically for me not until the second week of March to report on February's data, because with the 28th being on a Monday, I needed the billing and the reporting to catch up so that by that Monday on the 7th, new data would be available, because in our reporting system, it updates one of the databases that we use. It updates every Sunday. So I wanted to make sure I gave them the most recent data possible, because otherwise, if I would have gave them data on that first week of March, any billing that was posted or any charges for the 28th would not have been there, but they would have been there the week of March 7th, and then it would have been caught up, if that makes any type of sense at all. But I just kind of wanted to explain, you might have your calendar set for something to run recurring on a certain day, but that day could vary depending on the day of the week that it falls on. You may have to do some adjustments. But this month, it all works out because the first of the month was on Sunday. So surprisingly, my phone overheated. I'm not exactly sure where I left off, but that's okay. So as I was saying, my calendar is just a way that I keep track to make sure, for one, that I'm getting my reports out on time. And then I also still make a to-do list to make sure that I am getting my reports out. And it's just nice to see, okay, I've written out everything that I need to do, and then I'm also, checking that off. And then it's nice to see everything that I've done and gotten accomplished for this actual week. So what I was doing was my monthly reports, and then who they're for. So my colleagues, I have my department, and then even though I have, my department and then my colleagues, even with my department, I have, I'll have, for one of my colleagues, I have 4 different reports for her, 2 different reports for another. And then for my department, I have 2 standard reports. I have a month, and then fiscal year to date, and then prior year to date, and then I have a 5-year comparison report of our charges, our reimbursement, and our work RVUs. Now, when I pulled up the folder for March, I need to create one for April, and I just realized everything, my, not necessarily anxiety, but it just came rushing in, that I realized because of my dashboard, I have so much work to do to update that and do another analysis for this month. So while I was feeling like I had, a slow week last week, and I felt that I wasn't very productive, I think that only occurs for maybe a few days, because now that the new reports, the cubes have updated, boom, it's the first week of the month. I have to get all the reports updated, get all the case reports out for the providers, and then questions are going to start coming in. I have select providers that I have to do deep dives for and look at individual encounters to make sure that the cases are getting paid, and then investigate why some cases have got denied, where those denials stand, have we appealed them, where they sit at certain work queues, and that is very time consuming. And then with this new dashboard and updating that. And then there's some new items that I am not familiar with at all that I need to add to the dashboard. So there's a learning curve that I'm getting ready to encounter. So there's going to be some roadblocks that I'm going to stumble upon, but at the same time, I appreciate the challenge. I'm going to get frustrated, but that's okay. So while I have been in a funk, I now have just realized in this moment that I'm over it, because I just realized how much work I now have now that it's the first of the month. So now I'm able to round out my to-do list. See, another thing that I quickly want to touch on, a little bit of frustration with the delegation of things, because I am, a jack of all trades. I am, and I need to be confident in that. However, what I'm not going to do is do everybody's job. We are currently looking at the audit results for providers, and we received those from compliance. I feel that I have a pretty good relationship with the compliance specialist for our department, but there are times where I feel like I've not gotten, she's not been a great help, but not saying that in a negative way at all. It's just that I feel like she doesn't work outside of her box at all. Now, with that being said, I am starting to realize that the way my organization does things is very different from the way my organization does things. And I have learned through, I believe it was through a training that I did on LinkedIn, do not reference the way my previous organization does things. And I did not. When I got advice from another one of my peers. So, I was asking, I needed to look up the scope of an APP, an advanced practice practitioner, versus an RN. In my previous organization, that came from compliance. We were always looking at the scope of practice, who can document what, who can perform what, especially when it comes to evaluation and management, your E&M codes for office visits. Now I'm talking specifically for the physician company side. When it comes to office visits, especially when the E&M changes occurred in 2021, your ancillary staff can document your history, your past family and social history, your chief complaint, and all of that, all those changes that occurred. Well, who's considered ancillary staff? Is it your RN? Looking at the scope of practice and all of that, I was heavily into that. But in my organization, I reached out to someone in the same role that I'm in, just for another service line, and I said, please correct me, am I wrong? Why is this information coming from compliance? Because what the compliance specialist told me was, when it comes to split shared services, please refer to the scope of practice for APPs and RNs for guidance. Why shouldn't I get that from you? I instantly got so frustrated. I just had to put my head back, and you'll probably see that in a prior clip. I just put my head back and got so frustrated, because I'm like, oh my gosh, here is another roadblock. Now, I have no problem looking for guidance. I'm the queen of reading through federal guidelines, rules and regulations as it relates to Medicare, looking at the scope of practice for your state and things of that nature. But I shouldn't have to if that's not in my scope of practice. You know, I just got enraged because I keep running into this. This keeps happening. So I reached out to someone and she said this actually comes from the CVO. The CVO, make sure I have the right. The CVO is the it's the medical staff office, but it's the I can't remember what it stands for, so I don't want to waste any more minutes on that. But it's like the Central Verification Office or something like that, or it's something like that. But it's the medical staff office. And when she said that, I said, "Oh, well, that makes sense because they have to every single provider, all the staff, they have to have their credentials verified by the medical staff office, so they would know the scope of practice." I just never thought to go that route to ask for that information, because that's something I always did from a compliance perspective, because I need to know who is documenting in the chart and who can do what. From a documentation perspective, the people in the medical staff office can't tell me who can document in the chart. So it just needed to. So I just would expect someone from compliance to know that information, but maybe I need to change my expectations. And I've learned so much about managing my expectations when it comes to my job, relationships, friendships, my children. So it was really interesting to learn that about this organization. Another example of that is I have several denials for a provider that's not linked to coding. It's the remit code, the denial reason or denial code from Medicare is one thing. I send it to the billing office and they say, "We don't handle these, send to coding." What? It's not a coding denial. So I sent it to coding and it said, "We'll review." Now previously I've sent the same issue to coding before, and the supervisor has said this is not a coding denial. Where does it go? Who appeals it? Another roadblock. The inconsistencies are ridiculous. You can't do split shared billing in a place of service 11. I'm seeing some inconsistencies there. Well, you didn't flag it in the audit, so why did you say that this was, you agree? It just, and if I'm using any terminology that you want me to touch on or expand on, let me know in the comments below. But I'm getting so frustrated that I'm going around in circles. I'm asking for clarification, and I feel like every time I ask for clarification, they're explaining it to me as if I don't know what something is. No, I know what stuff means. I just don't understand the process of how things are done here. I know what split shared is. I know how APP should be used in the office. I know how to look up a scope of practice. I know how to use the internet. I know X, Y, and Z. That's not really what I'm asking. I'm asking who does what. What is the process to get to the result that I'm trying to achieve? So as I talk out this process right now, I'm realizing I really need to start rephrasing my questions, or I need to start being more direct. Because I don't know how how else to put it. So on another note, I want to share with you what I talked about this morning about my affirmation. The affirmation that I wrote yesterday was, it is easy for me to concentrate now. My concentration skills are improving every day. So that is what I wrote. Goodness gracious, my handwriting, for my affirmation yesterday. I will definitely be writing another one every day. Every day. This isn't just something monthly. I need to write one every day so that I can just better myself and concentrate and improve my work. And you know, just get it together. So in addition to that, I need to work on my 2 adjunct faculty jobs. Tonight it is Taco Tuesday, and I need to get a workout in with my kids. I asked them to work out with me because I need to close my rings. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the support. I've had a couple of people reach out to me, and I've taken phone calls, and they have been great. So thank you so much. Always love the opportunity to act as a mentor. That's something that I love to do. So you can always reach me via email. That's how those who I've talked to have reached out to me via my email. So I'm going to end it here. And again, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.